Give me a piece of cake.
Hey, it's just hey.
Yeah,
No, it's just probably something.
I would take it. It's like, well, I think negative. First thing you could be like, they may think I work there.
Yeah, or she volunteer. What is that?
I'm gonna go to Columbus.
Oh, it's for braids, like gray hair.
All right, we are now live. Don't say anything you don't want anybody to know.
Okay.
That's Tell everybody they got
5 minutes. I got. I'm sleeping.
5 minutes, girl. Now everything but the
Sleeping off.
I'm sorry.
I love it.
Oh, you didn't hear me.
I love her. I love Kitty.
Sometimes it's good to hear
I love it. Oh, all right. Did I sign it?
We got sign-in sheets already, so y'all need to be signing in them.
Signing in on the signing sheets. That don't sound right.
Put your name off on there.
Yeah, put a little tan paper.
Or somebody's name.
All right, then we can do
If you
that.
don't remember your own name, then just pick something else you like.
All right, I can be whoever I want to be today.
Yep.
Be whoever you want to be and don't get credit. You right about that. I think I'll be me. I go home in 7 days. I don't want to get an extra day added.
It has to be your fault.
It's my fault. It's always my fault. 16 more days. See, I can draw too. Look, Dr. Garner.
Yeah, I'm impressed.
I know, right? That's not a bad kidding, is it? 16 more days. What are you doing?
We used to have a guy that came from Texas, and I used to watch all the time. Who was the March.
Stiff. She said, "Oh, we need to create an North Point song." No, ma'am. Can you sign? Y'all sign back here. We ain't for cover. We ain't for cover. Everybody gotta make a verse. Okay. Me and Fallon gonna be in the back saying, we ain't for cover. I got a rocket in my pocket and it smells like that's all. I use the pen once again and it's making me gone. You like our song, Dr. Garner? I shoot for the
One of the things that I worry about all of the time is that all these people singing would actually be able to sing. I wish beyond all things. You can sing as well as you think you can. And, you know, the only reason I used to be the lead singer for a rock and roll group. Y'all probably heard of us. It was called the Mundane Society.
No,
you ain't heard of that.
I heard that.
We all thought that was a good name, but you know what mundane means? Not too good. And so we were not too good. We did write 2 songs.
You didn't like our song?
Huh?
You didn't like it?
I thought it was wonderful, yeah.
You know how to sing, Dr. Garner? I wrote a poem. Know how to make music.
Oh, yeah, you know, I mean,
he telling us a story.
People mistake me for Elvis all the time.
You want to hear my poem?
I don't think that's a good plan because Elvis been dead for like 50 years. Yes, I think
it's got a spiritual aspect to it.
Well, the whole world is waiting for bated breath. So what is your fault?
What if rhymes lost their rhyme? What if rhymes lost their rhyme? That's good. They on people going through. So what if the pear tree never had a partridge to sing us a Christmas tune, and Hey Diddle Diddle lost his fiddle and the cow never jumped the moon? What if Humpty Dumpty never had King's horseman to fix him at his fall, and Papa Bear got divorced causing Baby Bear to lose it all? What if Cinderella shattered her slipper and midnight never came, and the ugly duckling was born beautiful? Let's give that story another name. There's a reason God makes rhymes to sound the way they do, because if Mary never had her little lamb, there'd be no heaven for me.
All right.
That's good, yeah. I like that. That sounds well thought out. That's why we didn't go very far, because I was the lead singer, and we came up with a song called Onion Girl.
Oh my!
That was a good one, Onion Girl.
What you have to do? Pull back her layers?
No.
No.
we didn't get to that level yet.
Oh, okay.
It was, do you think that you're an onion girl? Is that why you always make me cry?
Oh.
Yeah, it was like that. And the other one,
Pretty cool.
The other one was Iron Butterfly. And then later on, a group came out with that. But we had a guy in our group that actually could sound just like Elvis.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
So right now, I sound just like Elvis.
Sounds? Charisma.
Yeah. No, not like that. He dead. He don't. All right, so it is group time. We are beginning our group this morning, and look, it's Friday, and everybody's ready to go home and do all these kinds of things. So we might get through a little early. That's not true.
Why?
That's not true. But we need to make sure that we have two things. We need to have the sign-in sheet.
That's right.
You just right behind you there. Sign in on there. Make sure that it is legible. What does that mean? What does it mean? I can read your writing. If I can't read your writing, then you need to write your reading a little better, right? So get it on there. So we can read it. Make sure it gets turned in. Make sure your name is on there. The other thing we need. The other thing we need are our books. Everybody got their books? So we need, if you don't have your book, get your book. And so if you're not feeling well in group and all of that kind of stuff, then, we're all compassionate and all that kind of stuff, but we want you to know you can't disrupt group. I'm sorry, I'm not meaning that. If you don't feel good, you might not need to be in group.
Go lay down.
He kicking?
Yeah, but it's not that. Heartburn, nauseous.
Drink some milk.
Drink milk. I ate a tablespoon of mustard. Nothing's working.
Nothing's working. All right, so if you have your book this morning, we're going to go back to page 71, and we're going to look at a couple of things. Now, I want to talk to you a little bit about your book. Everybody needs to have a book. If you don't have a book, you need to get a book. And that's at both places. Make sure your counselor knows that you don't have a book. Here's the deal. And your counselors are going to take care of that. They're going to make sure you get a book. If something happens that they say, we don't care, we ain't going to give you no book, we don't like you like that, and all of that kind of stuff, you let me know, and I will get you a book. Because I want everybody to have a book, right? Here's the deal. We have to go through the book the way the book is lined out. So you need, if you're just getting here and you just got your book, then you don't need to start where we are. You need to start in the front of it. Because the book is designed for you to start in the front and go all the way through to the back. That's how it's designed. And so we need you to do that. We want you to be doing that. Your counselor is going to be giving you some assignments out of that book, and you on your treatment plan, but you also have assignments as you go through those assignments on there, and you need to be completing those assignments. And then as you are given the opportunity, when you get into your process group, you're going to be able to process some of the stuff not only is on your treatment plan, but also is in the book, right? So you need to be walking through the book as the book is lined out. There's a purpose for every bit of that. However, we're doing that as well in the topical groups. We're walking through the book. So what we do right now, we're up on week 7. You might be on week 1. Do you need to stay on week 1? Yeah. Yes, you do. You stay on week 1 in your studies, and you keep going through it the way that you're supposed to go through it. And if you're in week 1, where should you be? Week 1. Thank you, ma'am. You should be on week 1. If you're here for the first week, don't go to week 3. Stay on week 1 and finish week 1 before you move on. And so we're not moving all the way to week 7. If you're on week 1, you're already on week 1. But in here, we're going through, it gives us a little bit of extra in the book, right? It's just used to being in our book. It's just used to having that book with us. If you don't have your book, if you don't bring your book to class, you can't follow along. and you're going to be given all sorts of terrible stuff. So on Monday, when we get here on Monday, I'm going to be at South on Monday, South Point. But I'm going to come by here at North Point first and give you enough of the pre and post assessments so that you can do a pre-assessment of whatever the topic's going to be on Monday, and then a post assessment. Now I'm going to probably have Miss Casey or somebody like that hand those out because I don't want anybody cheating or anything. Right. And I'm sure that that's going to work. So if you're on page 71 real quickly, we're going to go over just a couple of things. We had talked about, what are some of the ways that we went overboard when we were in our addiction? What are some of the things that we neglected when we were in our addiction? Can you think of some stuff? I can think of a lot of things, and we talked about that, health and spirituality, family. We just neglected a whole bunch of stuff. I went overboard on using my drug. I went overboard on going places, doing things that I shouldn't do. I was just always into all of that stuff. But then on number 3, it says we go into our recovery. A lot of times we'll get into some stuff and go really, really extreme on that. But then number 4 talks about family. We can sometimes just go to the extremes. We have really let our family go when, we started into drugs and alcohol. We were messing with that stuff. And so when we were messing with alcohol and drugs, we were not messing with the family, right? So the family went by the wayside. So now when I'm sober, now when I know that I'm supposed to be doing something nice, kind, good, and sweet with my family, I can often overwhelm them with my desire to be a part of them, right? And so we need to be cautious about that too. Here's the deal. People may love you, but they may also get enough of you, right? Right? And you thought you're the only one who could rhyme. Yeah, see that? But sometimes we need to give those people what? A little bit of space. You don't have to. Now look, I'm not going back to my family at all if they're using, right? If my family's using, they're going to threaten my recovery. I ain't going back around those crazy people. I'm just not. Okay, I know they're our family. We love them and all of that kind of stuff right there, but I got to stay sober. And if I'm hanging out with you and you're using, I can't stay sober. Now, if my family is clean, they don't use, all that stuff, they're loving, kind, good, nice, and sweet, should I go back to them? Yes. Absolutely. I need to go back to them because for one thing, I need their support, right? Yes. I need the support of an AA group, NA group, some kind of group, but I also need the support of a sponsor and some sober people in my life, and I need the support of my family if my family is supportive. Mm-hmm. Now, if they're not supportive, that's an issue. But if my family is supportive, I need them to be supportive of me. But I don't need to, what? What I don't need to do?
Be supportive? Rely on them.
Let them enable me. What were you saying?
Rely
on them. Now, see, this is the thing.
Overwhelmed.
Thank you. Thank you. Just now said that 3 seconds ago. And everybody go, what? Just now, okay. So yeah, you were listening, okay. Or you guessed it, whatever. But yeah, we don't need to overwhelm our family. They are there to be our support, but they're not all of our support. They're there to be there for us, but they're not only there for us. Look, that's addictive thinking, that's addict thinking. When I think like my family ought to just drop everything that they're doing to take care of me. That's not good stuff. No, I got to do some taking care of myself. And I've got to do that by reaching out to other people. Okay? Well, looked like you were having a stroke there for a moment.
It was sour.
Oh, eating sour candy. Okay. All right. So anyway, it says here, look, since we may have neglected our family, we may go overboard with them too. This can cause a lot of problems. We need to understand that. They've gotten used to getting along without much help from you. Because you know what? When I'm in my addiction, guess what I am?
Selfish.
I am selfish. I'm also worthless.
True.
I had a guy tell me one time, don't you call me worthless. Okay, then don't be worthless. But when I am in my addiction to my family, I'm not worth much. Right? So now they've gotten used to me being in that situation. They've gotten used to me not being able to put anything into the family and all of that kind of stuff. So now that I'm there and I've got a truckload of stuff that I need to give to the family, they don't, they're not used to that. They're not receptive of that. They don't need you to come clean their house. They don't want you to paint the bedroom. But that's all stuff. When I got sober, I wanted to do all the. Let me cut the grass. Let me do that. I want to because I hadn't done anything in such a long time. So when I got sober, I about killed my wife. I want to do this and I want to do that and I want to do this. Okay.
You're also trying to keep yourself busy.
It is, and it is helpful for us to keep ourselves busy, but we don't need to keep ourselves busy pouring on our family. Yeah. There's a whole lot of other things we can do. There's groups out there that exist for you. Your family doesn't exist for you. The group does. The group exists. If you weren't part of the group might not, if everybody left the group, it wouldn't be any group. So that group depends on you being a part of that group. What would happen if you left your family?
They would still move on.
They would probably be okay. I'm 71 years old. My family, my extended family, they don't need me. They're doing well. So we got to be careful about overwhelming these guys. Now here's the deal. On the other hand, our families, they've gotten so used to us, we shut them out all this time. So on the other hand, our families may feel like we continue to neglect them to spend time with our newfound friends and activities in recovery. See, they feel like we're continuing that neglect because we're going to the AA group. We're going down there to celebrate recovery. I had a guy one time, must have been 40 years ago, we were pastoring a church and he came, he wanted to talk to me. I didn't really know him. I knew he was the husband of one of the ladies that were in our church. And so I sat down with him and talked to him. And I said, what's going on? He said, my wife spends too much time at church. I said, man, I don't think that's possible. This is the house of God. I don't think she was down there 5 to 6 days a week. Think that's a little excessive?
Yeah.
A little excessive. So she was not dealing with him at all. She was at church. She wasn't taking care of the children. She wasn't cooking. She wasn't cleaning. She was at the church. She was cooking and cleaning and taking care of kids at the church. So you can overwhelm people doing good stuff. All of that's good stuff. All of that's needed. And I will tell you, if you will come and say, hey, I'm going to do this, then usually the pastor or the people that will let you do that, because otherwise they got to do it themselves, So I said, look, there may be some truth in the fact that you are neglecting them a little bit because what are we doing? We're working on ourselves, right? We need to get, and look, it says we might get absorbed in our recovery a little bit. And do we need to get absorbed in our recovery a little bit? Yes, we do. Yes.
I experienced that when I was going through being clean for a while.
Yeah.
My family, they would call because they already used to you being gone when you're doing your drugs and stuff. So now all of a sudden you're gone again. And it would be like constantly calling, where are you?
Yes.
Where are you? But it'll pay off because they know you're doing something. They'll still worry a little bit.
Yeah. So they're expecting. And they're expecting when you're gone, they're not expecting the fact that you're gone. Yeah. You're not going shopping. You're not going to the movies. You're not going to the beach. They expect you to be Really gone.
Yeah.
You're going back where? Out.
Yeah.
You're going back out. You're going back down there to where Bubba is. You're going down there where you know that friend of yours that you still have on your speed dial is still there. Mm-hmm. And you're going to go down there and talk to him or you talk to her and get some little something. Right? Mm-hmm. So that's what they're expecting. Anytime you take off and go somewhere, they're expecting that to happen.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I have a son that lives in our backyard. He has a barn dominium back there, and every now and then he'll take off and go somewhere. And we have the guy. He just turned 48 years old. Is it okay for him to go somewhere?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, it's okay for him to go somewhere, but still, his mother goes and looks out the thing. See if his car is back.
Yeah.
You know, how long is he'd been gone for 6 hours. He's 48. If he leaves for 6 months, I'm all right. You know, I mean, he's 48. You know, he can go. Yes, ma'am, you had your hand up. Were you waving or? See, I waited till you took a bite. See, I'm training you.
I was trying to figure out what page we're on.
Oh, okay. We're on page 71.
I love it.
Yeah, come. Look, I just want y'all to know that it's perfectly all right to come in late and disrupt the group. That's fine. It's okay. Because we need to know what page we're on. There may be some truth in that as some of us get absorbed in rebuilding our lives at work. We're rebuilding our lives in our recovery program, and we're still having trouble finding time for our families, right? Yeah. So we need to make sure, look, what have we been talking about this week? Spirituality. And when we're talking about spirituality, what does that tell us? We need to balance our lives. So we need to make sure this is balanced. I'm not going to give all of my time to my family. Right? And here's the deal. Your family doesn't want all of your time. So I'm not going to give all of my time, but I'm not going to give all of my time to my recovery. I need to be pretty absorbed in my recovery, but I need to have time in my recovery to do other things. I'm not going to stay at the AA place 24 hours a day. Not going to do it. Because there's other things I have to do. Now, when I start to have a little craving or I start to have a little desire or something, am I going to go to group?
Yes.
Absolutely. What if my family has cooked a big old meal for us?
I got to go to group.
I got to go to group.
Yeah.
I'm going to take care of me, and then I'm going to take care of my family at the same time.
I'll come back and eat it.
Yeah, I can come back after a while. I'll heat it up. I'll love on you a little bit later on. But right at this point in time, I got things I have to do. And I'm going to go do that. So here's the deal. If things have gone either way with your family, you have to figure out how to get that back in balance. Right? So I want all that to be in balance. I don't want it to be one way or another, because if it's one way or another, if I'm extreme on one way, then it's going to take away from the other place that I need in my life as well. So I need my family in my life as long as they are sober.
Yeah.
Right? So if they're not sober, I don't need them in my life. I need my recovery being on the front burner for the rest of my life. You know, when I've been sober for 40 years, do I still need to pay attention to my recovery?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. I've known people who were out for 30, 35 years and relapse and come back and you know, their eyes about this big around saying, oh my God, you know, I don't know what happened. I do. You got drunk.
Mm-hmm.
That's what happened. You know, that's easy. Anybody can do that. And, you know, all of that stuff. So where are we right now at this point in time? Where are we in our recovery?
In the beginning, still learning.
We're in the beginning.
Farther than when I was.
You were farther than you were just a few days ago anyway, huh? So are we moving in our recovery?
Yes.
Are we supposed to be moving in our recovery?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Yeah, we're supposed to be moving in our recovery. And I don't know that you've heard the terms, but we're going to go through the stages of change. Have y'all heard that?
Yes.
You know what the stages of change are?
Yes.
You know where you are on the stages of change?
Yes.
Okay. She's got it all. So, you're dismissed. No, I'm kidding. You have to stay. Yes, ma'am. You have to use the bathroom. Not in here. It's not allowed to do that. We have special rooms for that. But, might I say that we have been in group for 20 minutes. So I'm sure we all have to go. But look, what is this? And I know you can't see this very well over at South Point, but this is a forest, and there's a person behind one of the trees. So what does that mean?
They're hiding.
Are they hiding?
They're either peeking or hiding.
Or are they lost in the woods?
They're hiding. They're lost in the woods.
They could be hiding. They could be lost in the woods.
She looks like she's run into something and she's curious about what's out there.
Yeah, she might be stuck up behind that tree. There's another tree behind her, so maybe she got stuck betwixt the two trees.
Oh, that's right. She in between.
Yeah, but she's out there in the midst of nowhere, and she's hidden, and she's kind of wondering where she is and how to get away from there and how to get out of the woods and get back to where she wants to be. That a lot of the times that's how it feels when we're just getting into our recovery. We just stop drinking. We just stop using drugs, and we're just at that place where, okay, where am I now?
Yeah.
And where am I going from this point? I got to have this is the point I'm at, and that's the point I'm wanting to go to.
Yeah.
So what is that?
Indecisive.
It's a goal.
Oh.
I got to have a goal that I'm going to get out there, and I'm going to do what I need to do what?
Be in recovery.
Stay in recovery. That's a big deal. When I leave from here, I'm going to stay in recovery. Let me tell you this. Going through this program, does that guarantee that when you get out of here, you're going to be in recovery for the rest of your life? No. We don't make any guarantees. When you come in here, we don't guarantee you that once you go through here, if you follow the book exactly the way that we're telling you to follow the book, then you're going to be okay. Following the book is important. Being okay when you get out of here is up to you. All of the things in the book. Now, here's another good thing about the book. It's yours. You can take it home with you, right? And when things start getting a little bit shady, things getting a little bit shaky, you can go back through there and say, now, what did they say about that? And you can see a little something in there. You can rework the book. You can do what you need to do to stay in recovery. So when your counselor is talking about the stages of change, does that mean that you're going to be in that stage of change your whole time in recovery? No, you shouldn't be, right? Do you have to go forward in the stages of change?
Mm-hmm.
You can't go backwards and forward?
Yeah, you can go
yes, they're kind of fluid. You can move around in those things. Some days I'm at this stage of change, and then the next day I'm at this stage of change. Something can happen that shakes my life a little bit, and when it shakes my life a little bit, it may shake my stage of change. It may move me from one place to the other. So if I come into treatment, and if you come into treatment, usually everybody that comes into treatment, not everybody, but a lot of people who come into treatment are in the pre-contemplation stage. Should you be when you leave from here in the pre-contemplation? No, you should not. You should have moved. But here's the deal. Can you still be in the pre-contemplation stage when you leave from here?
Yeah.
Yes, you can. What is the pre-contemplation stage? Who knows what that is? All right, so you got the stick. Yes, ma'am. What the?
I've got a definition of it, but I'm not just use an example. It's like it's before contemplation. It's when people are trying to tell you, like, give you, like, tell you, hey, you need to go to rehab or whatever, and if you're just like you're not processing it.
Right. Somebody else can see your problem, but you can't.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I've been there a long time. Now you have a problem. You the one with the problem. You keep fooling with me, you're gonna have a serious problem. All I'm doing is drinking a little bit. And I can stop anytime I want to. Right? I don't have to drink. So pre-contemplation is the cost of the problem behavior. Like you said, this is a definition that I kind of like. It says, look, the cost of the problem, drinking, drug use, whatever it is, are not yet recognized. Now, some other people can see it better than I can. I'm driving a 25-year-old car, and I'm living under the bridge or living somewhere that it would be a step up to move to the bridge, and I don't have any money and everything's can't pay my bills and all of that kind of stuff, but I can come up with the money to use drugs and alcohol. See, some other people look at that and it's obvious, right? Other people look at that and say, oh my God, that you have a problem. But myself, I'm not looking at that. Why?
Because you don't want to.
I don't want to. That's a really good answer. I don't want to. And here's the deal, Lucille. If look, I've got all of these problems and all of this stuff, but if I can just get a bottle of vodka, they go away. All I have to have, not really a bottle of vodka. If I can get one good slug, then they go away. All of my problems are gone. All of my problems, that's why this is my greatest coping skill in the world. I don't have any issues at all as long as I have enough money to have enough food. Right? So pre-contemplation is they just haven't gotten bad yet. The cost of the problem behavior, and the cost can get pretty high. It can cost me my life, cost me my family, cost me everything, but I'm not recognizing that yet. The individual, what's that called? If I'm doing all of this stuff, but I'm not recognizing it in myself, you're in denial. And the biggest problem that we have as addicts is our innate ability to deny that we have a problem. If I ever got to the place where I recognize the fact that, yes, I do. And I have people in groups like this one. Now, not in here. You people are just really, and people in the South just really great. But I have had people in the groups where you can tell in the group they ain't buying none of that. I don't have a problem. I'm in here because my mama made me come. I'm in here because the police made me come. The police said, you go in there, we got another place for you. So I said, I'll go in there, because it's easier to get away from there, right? And so, we're at that place of denial, and just because we're in treatment doesn't mean we're not in denial, right? Yeah. So, we can get into treatment, be doing what a lot of times CPS is telling us, probation is telling us, and all of that stuff, and we will guarantee that we don't have a problem. So that's pre-contemplation. I am deeply in denial, and denial is the one thing that will keep us in our addiction, in our active addiction. Says, look, the individual's in denial and is not seriously considering changing their behavior. Because my behavior hasn't gotten bad enough yet to cost me enough yet to make me want to halt the behavior no matter what it cost me to drop the behavior. See, when our limbic system and all of that stuff is telling us, you stop using alcohol, you stop using cocaine, you stop using methamphetamines, you're going to die. Your limbic system's trying to save your life because it believes, because we've screwed up our homeostasis, And we've gotten a new thing stuck in there that tells your limbic system that you have to have that or you will die. So when you stop using that, your limbic system says, well, if you don't use this, you're going to die. And so that fuels our denial. I can't possibly have a problem. This behavior can't possibly be problematic. If I don't do it, I will die. So if you know in your knower that if you don't use methamphetamines, you're going to die, what are you going to do? You're going to use it. Yeah, you're going to use methamphetamine. See, and this is why mamas and daddies and other family members, why they don't understand it when we go back out. They don't understand it when, we've been sober for 2 or 3 days, maybe sober for a couple of months, and we go back out. They don't understand that. It's hard to understand, isn't it? For normal people, but see, they're normies. We're not normies, right? We're addicts, and we know that we're trying to save our own lives. We know that our limbic system, we may not know what it's called, but the mesolimbic system, one of our primitive brains, is telling us, if you don't use this, right now, today, you're going to die. Okay. Now, here's the deal. What happens if we can't get past the pre-contemplation stage?
Using?
Say it again?
We go back to using?
We're going to go back to using. Yeah, look, here, pre-contemplation means I don't think I have a problem. I don't think I have, I don't have that. You are the one who thinks I have a problem. Probation thinks I have a problem. CPS, they think I have, I know me. I'm the expert on me, and I know I don't have a problem. Or we'll get to the place, we're still in pre-contemplation, but we'll say to ourselves things like, I'm not as bad as you think I am. I think, what I think? I'm not going to let it get as bad as it was. I'm just going to use on holidays, because everybody knows that the best way to celebrate the birth of Jesus is to have a couple of drinks, get a little bit of methamphetamine. But we can't. That's because that one little bit is going to take us back to that place we don't want to go. When we take enough to get us to the place where we really want to go, it's going to take us to a place we don't want to go. So that's pre-contemplation. It says, look, we're not considering changing their behavior or not. They may have made previous attempts to change, but have since given up. One of the things that'll throw us back into denial, back into the pre-contemplation stage, is when we get to that place where we've tried it before, but we failed. When I go into recovery, when I go into a treatment facility, knowing I'm not going to make it. I don't have it. I don't have it in my office now, but I'm going to get it. I have Miss Asia gave me an office here, so I'm going to put in my office over there this sign that says, "If you think you can, or if you think you can't, you're right. If you think you can, or if you think you can't, you're right." Get it?
Yeah.
It's all up here in my brain. If I get to the place where I'm confident in myself and I know that, look, I can do this, there's millions of people out there who have gotten off of the junk and stayed off of the junk, but the first thing they had to do was what?
Realize they had a problem.
Say what is it again?
Realize they had a problem.
Realize they had a problem.
Or want to change.
Want to change. Yeah, get honest. The big book tells us we have to be honest with ourselves. We've got to be honest. And when we're in the pre-contemplation stage, are we honest with ourselves? No. We've been able to look at our lives and say, okay, this was bad. This was bad. That was worse. This is terrible. That was bad. But I don't have a problem. It's not the alcohol, it's not the drugs that's causing the problem. It's something entirely different. As a matter of fact, the drugs are the only thing that's making it so that I can continue at any level at all. Right? So instead of looking at the alcohol and the drugs as a horrible, terrible, life-destroying addiction, we look at it as an ally, something that's helping me. Or maybe, if I'm in the pre-contemplation stage, maybe I'm at that place where I just don't know if I want to or not. I'm not fooling with that. So what do I do when I'm at the pre-contemplation stage and suddenly I move and I'm in the contemplation stage? What does that mean?
Recognize, that's when you start to recognize the problem, and then you start coming up, you start planning on change.
Start planning on something. You know, what does contemplation mean?
Then you're like making decisions. You got to decide. You're having to make decisions between two ideas.
You got to make it, trying to make, contemplating. If you break it down to what it is, what does it mean? Thinking about it.
Thinking about it.
Thinking about it. You know, if you break contemplation, the word contemplation down, it simply means I'm going to think about it.
Yeah.
So pre-contemplation simply means I ain't going to think about it. I ain't thinking about it. I don't care what you say. I'm not thinking about it. I'm not going to do it. We do that to our families a lot. Because our families are the first line of defense. They're the first one's going to come and tell you got a problem. And we're going to say, I'm not even thinking about that. But when we get to the contemplation stage, okay, I ain't doing much of anything, but I'm thinking about it. Thinking about it. You know, and is it good to be at that stage?
Yes.
It is and it isn't. You know, I want to be at the place where I'm thinking about it, right?
Yeah.
I want to take the time to look at this and say, okay, this is bad, this is horrible, this is worse, this is terrible. Why?
Because that part, if you're doing that, that means somewhere up there and in here, you know you want to change.
Yeah.
You're thinking about it.
Something is percolating in my mind and in my heart that says if this is bad and if this is horrible and this is terrible, why is that bad? Why is that horrible? Why is that terrible? Why does my family not like me? Why do my children? Why can't I have my children? Why are the police after me all? Why?
Because you're doing something that you know is bad for you.
Yeah.
And you're doing something that's causing all of these problems.
Yeah, she said you're doing something that's causing all these problems, and you're doing something that's illegal a lot of the times, and you're doing something that, let me tell you something. I know that when you say CPS, a lot of times people just kind of cringe, and they cast a big net, and a lot of times they get people in there that really maybe they shouldn't be there. But for the people that, those children who are really in dangerous places, if you're on methamphetamines and you have, you're using cocaine and you're using, you shouldn't have your kids at the house. Yeah. Kids shouldn't have to grow up in that kind of crazy mess. But when I'm in that contemplation stage, I'm thinking about it. Why did they do that? It wasn't because I was playing my music too loud on Saturday afternoon. It's because I was drunk like stones playing my music.
Think they get you to a point of thinking you're a victim?
It can sometimes if you're contemplating. Yeah. You can get to that place where you think that you're a victim, but what we wanted to do is take you to a place where you get away from victimhood, right? Mm-hmm. I don't need to be. I was a victim out there. As an addict, I'm a victim, but what am I a victim of?
Myself.
I'm a victim of myself. I'm a victim of my drug. All that kind of stuff. So contemplation says this. The individual is experiencing ambivalence about change.
You can't say it. I can't spell it.
What does ambivalence mean? You spell it AMBIVALENCE. So what's ambivalence mean?
Can you restate? I think I know, but I don't know.
Yeah, I can restate the question. The individual is experiencing ambivalence about change.
Thoughts?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, some thoughts about it. Look, I'm sitting on a fence.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, look, there are good things about me stopping and using. But there's also some good things about me not using.
Yeah.
There's some good things in my life about using. I'm ambivalent. Means there's some good things over here, but there's some good things over here. I have to be ambivalent about chocolate cake.
You have to be.
Yeah, she's ambivalent. That's the tree. Because you don't know if you want to come out behind that tree or not. You know, because there's some good things about coming out from behind that tree. If she comes out from behind that tree, people are going to be able to see her. People are going to. She's going to be able to see the world. People are going to be able to rescue her and all of that kind of stuff. But there's also some good stuff about staying behind that tree. What's the good stuff?
The drugs.
What is it? Yeah, she feels safe. She feels protected behind the tree, right? So she's ambivalent. She doesn't know if she want to come out from behind that tree or stay behind that tree where she feels protected. So look, I use drugs and alcohol, so I don't know if I want to give up my coping skill. I'm feeling like, hey, I've got some good coping skills, but and you know, it gives me some social currency. What's social currency?
Like social connection. Social
connection. Connections, yeah. When I use drugs and alcohol, you know, before we used to go dancing, I'd have to fuel up, you know, so that when the music started, everything else would start, you know. Before that, I couldn't do that, you know. I'd have to get, so that would give me some social currency so that I could be amongst other people. So that's ambivalence. I'm thinking, okay, if I get off of the drug, I'm going to have more money. My family's going to be happy. I'm going to be healthier. Everything's going to go that way. And you know, people are hearing that. When they're at that place, they're hearing that. They may not really be believing that, but they're hearing that. This is the good things that's going to happen when you get your counselor saying, look, this is the great thing that's going to happen when you get off of this. And they're saying, that'd be good. That'd be great. But then, you know, also, if I do get off of it, I'm going to lose this coping skill, and I'm going to lose that, I'm going to lose this, right? So I'm ambivalent. I'm going one way. I'm being pulled both ways, right? So what should we do if we're at that ambivalent state?
Make a decision.
I need to be making a decision, but I also need to be making the best decision. Mm-hmm. Taking a look, okay, if I continue along this way, everything is probably going to go down. Mm-hmm. But if I go in the other way, it's probably going to do better. So if I'm in the pre-contemplation stage, what do you think I should do?
Stop contemplating, right through.
Maybe start thinking about it a little bit. Mm-hmm. Ease myself over. Look, it's not your counselor's job. It's not their responsibility to move you into another state of change. That's your stuff. That's what you're going to do. You're going to do. Now they're going to teach you. You're going to come to this class. And we're going to try to get some of that stuff done, and your counselor is going to give you all of this good information. They're going to do all of this stuff. They're going to love on you. They're going to try to do everything that they can, but it is still your responsibility to say, I am moving from, and that's a real easy step. Look, I'm moving from pre-contemplation where I just ain't going to think about it. Man, if I'm at that place, that's a dangerous place. I don't care what you tell me. I don't care what you say. I'm just not thinking about it. Okay. You don't think about it, you're in denial, you can't move. But at the very least, I can think about it. You know, somebody says, hey, you want to get a COVID test? We're gonna stick this stick up your nose with a cotton swab on the end of it, and we're gonna rub that right on the edge of your brain 3 or 4 different times. Good, and then we're gonna pull it out that nostril. We're gonna take all that snotty stuff there and stick it up the other nostril, and we're gonna do that again up there, scratch your brain with it, and all that kind of stuff. You want to do that?
No.
Nobody in here wants to do that, but you need to think about it. You would think about that. And look, it's really not that bad. I've had that done a bunch of times. Mm-hmm. You know, anytime somebody around here goes, oh, feel good, Miss Asia, come stick up your nose. You know, mine too. You know, come stick up my nose and say, okay, you don't have it. Okay, well, quit sticking the stick up my nose. You know, but at least if they say, hey, look, we have the test. Would you like to take the test? I'm going to think about it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to move from that place of pre-contemplation. I'm going to move to a place where I'm at least willing to contemplate. What happened?
New thinking.
What happened?
New thinking and change.
Then you taking action.
You've taken action. There's a little bit of change. A little bit of change. There is a tiny crack in what? My denial.
Yes.
Denial is a wall that has been built between you and your recovery. And now, since I said, okay, I'm no longer in I'm going to think about it. There's a crack in that wall of denial. That wall of denial is not completely gone, right? Because I'm still looking at the good things that my drug gave me, but that crack is there. Something's happening. My denial is failing in its job to keep me in my addiction. A little bit. A little bit. It gets a little bit better as it goes along. So we're experiencing ambivalence, and we talked about what ambivalence is. At least I'm thinking about it. I can see both sides of the question now. When I'm in pre-contemplation, I only see one side. I only see the addiction side. I only see the fun side. I only see the good side for me. I don't want to see any of this other stuff. And as a matter of fact, that other stuff doesn't exist. I don't have a problem. But when I'm willing to think about it a little bit, I'm willing to, all that means is I'm looking at the other side. I'm looking at both sides of the equation, right? So, willing to look at both sides, they can see reasons now to change their behavior. In contemplation, I can see that there are some reasons that I might want to change my behavior, right? That's a big old deal. I'm looking at it, and I'm saying, okay, there's a reason. There's an absolute, solid reason that I might need to change my behavior. Look, and I'm not picking on anybody, but I've talked to a lot of people who've lost their children due to drugs. So when I'm ambivalent, when I'm in that place, I can look at that and say, you know what? If I stop using, why did they take? If I stop using drugs, if I just stop using drugs, I can get my children back. That's looking at both sides. But even in this place where I'm in that contemplation stage, that means that, look, I'm still a little bit hesitant. There's still some things that I can look at my use of drugs and alcohol as being good. There's really good stress relief for me, really good coping skill for me, because I used it to cope with anything. I would start a fight with my wife early in the morning. Why on earth would you do something like that? My wife was really good at yelling at me. And when people yell at me, what does it do?
Make you mad. It stresses you out.
Is that again? It does stress me out and it hurts my feeling. Don't yell at me, it hurts my feeling. And so if my feelings are hurt, and if I might as well have something. I might as well. So on the way to wherever I was going, stop by the liquor store, right? Often I didn't have to stop by the liquor store. I had some liquor hidden. Had some in the barn, had some in the bathroom, had some, I wasn't going to use it. It was just there for emergencies. So what happens when you have something there for emergencies, you got to have an emergency. And is getting yelled at an emergency? Yes. It's a horrible emergency. People ought not yell at me, and it's their fault. Now, I wouldn't drink if it wasn't for that girl who sits up front. Paying
attention.
So, yeah.
Listening to me.
So they see the reasons to change their behavior, but they're still hesitant. The deal is if I change my behavior, I'm not going to have that anymore. I'm not going to have, the next time somebody yells at me, I'm not going to be able to go to the barn. If I stop that, I might have to take my stash out of the barn. And I keep telling the barn because I have a barn. And It was several years ago. I went in the barn and we were cleaning some stuff up, and I found a bottle.
Yeah.
Up there in the attic, and my wife's in there helping me. She sees me find that bottle, and she said, "Did you put that?" I said, "No, I did not put that bottle up there. You know, the people who own this land and built this house and built this barn before, that guy must have been a drunk or something. And he put it up there. I'm going to pour it out. Did I put that bottle up there?
Yeah.
Of course I put that bottle up there. But I had forgotten where I put that bottle, and I found that bottle of vodka, and I did pour it out because I hadn't used in many, many moons by that time. But I was, I was hesitant to get, and just kept it just in case. You know what happens if you keep something just in case?
You'll get back to contemplate.
Just in case.
Yeah.
That just in case is gonna happen. I told y'all about the girl I was dating years ago, and she had quit smoking, but she kept a pack of Marlboros in her purse. And I asked, "Why are you keeping these in your purse?" She said, "Well, I'm keeping them there just to prove I can do it." No. She was still in that place. She's still making sure she had what she wanted to. So here's the deal. They're still hesitant at this stage at contemplation. You haven't stopped using. At contemplation, the behavior continues. All right. At that place, I'm ambivalent. I might be able to listen to something that you have to say. Right? I might be able to listen a little bit, but it doesn't mean I'm going to change my behavior. It means I'm thinking about the behavior. I'm not thinking about changing the behavior. Right? So, I'm ambivalent. Okay, maybe I need to. I don't want to. Maybe I need to. So it'd be a really good thing if somebody could come by and push me off that fence. This is what your counselor is trying to do. This is what I'm trying to do. And when your counselor says, it ain't a good thing for you to use drugs.
Really?
It's not.
It's not.
It's not a good thing for you to use alcohol. It's not a good thing for you to be addicted to that behavior. It's not a good thing. It's not a good... They know that you might be experiencing a little bit of ambivalence, and they're trying to shove you off that fence. Sometimes if you push too hard, though, people fall off on the wrong side of the fence. Yeah. So that's why these guys that, sometimes they may not act like it and all that stuff, and I hope they ain't listening right, but they are professionals in what they do. They've been trained how to push you off that fence gently, easily, and with love and caring and concern. That's what they do. That's what they do. So it's really important to see people who come in pre-contemplative to move to contemplative, right? Very, 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 very. And you need to be at this point in your recovery. If you're not at that, you need to move to that. I talk to counselors all the time. And when somebody's leaving the program, the one thing I want to know about the person leaving the program, what stage of change are they in? You'd be really surprised to find out that there's people leave the program still in the contemplative state.
Yeah.
Is that okay? It's okay, except that it's not okay. I don't want people to leave in the contemplative. I don't want you to still be thinking about whether or not you need it. I went to England about 10 years ago or so, and the lady invited me to a Bible study. I'm a pastor, so of course she did. And so she invited me to a Bible study. I went to the Bible study, and we studied some stuff that wasn't the Bible. And then they asked me what I thought about it, and of course, okay, here we go. And so I was telling them, look, this study that you're doing, that's great, all of that kind of stuff, but, the only way to salvation is through the Lord Jesus Christ. That's how I see it. That's how I teach it. That's the way it is. And I had a guy sitting there. He said, well, I've been going to this church, and I've been there for about 10 years now. And, they teach that same thing. I said, well, that's good. He said, yes. I haven't yet made up my mind, though, whether I want to accept him as my Savior or not. I said, okay. You ain't right. At some point, you need to make the decision that this is not what I want to do with my life, right?
It's a bit of a problem.
I want to make sure that that's it. So at this point, sometimes the problem continues, the use continues. Yes.
So after contemplating,
Yes.
Yes, sir. Sorry about that.
Go ahead. Yeah, question.
Is it an action stage?
Hi, ma'am.
After contemplated?
It's
No.
pre-contemplation.
So you got pre-contemplation, contemplation,
Preparation.
Preparation.
Action and maintenance.
action. I knew action was coming.
She's gonna be a counselor, and she keeps studying.
I knew action was
If
there.
you keep studying this afternoon at 3:00, we'll make you a counselor. We could use a few. What is the first qualification for an LCDC?
Sobriety.
Sobriety.
Yeah, being in recovery.
Yeah.
You
For
know,
6 months.
do you have to be in a recovery to be an LCDC?
Yes.
No, but it's better.
Not just one of the RAs, ARs, whatever they're called. She's not had a problem with drugs.
Well, and they're not counselors.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're not counselors.
Yeah.
So that's fine. And you don't have to be in recovery. And look, there's a lot of people who are in the field just because they have the education. Right? But those people usually are somewhere else up the line.
Yeah.
Usually, not always, but usually line staff, people who are teaching you, your counselor, we're all in recovery.
Yeah.
Usually. But I have met some who did a really good job because they can tell you all of the things that they have learned through education. And a lot of times that's enough to help you get to the place you need to get to.
Yeah.
But people who are not in recovery, really, that's a little bit different than people who are in recovery.
Yeah.
They're
They
normies,
get harder
we're
to
not.
relate. They can't
So,
relate.
we're going to take a break here in just a minute. Not yet. Don't everybody.
Oh.
Grabbing the cigarette pouch and all of that. But when we get back, we're going to be talking about the preparation stage of recovery and figure out what that stage meant. And you're exactly right. There are a couple more stages: preparation, and then action, and then maintenance. One other thing we're going to look at is relapse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much time we're going to have
We could pick
when we
this
get
up
back.
Monday to
We'll-
do some good stuff.
Say it again.
We could pick it up Monday. This some
We
good
could
stuff.
pick it up. She said we could pick it up Monday. We're probably going to get most of it done, but there's a couple other things I want to stick in there as well. So let's go and take us a break and be back in here about 15 minutes after, and we will jump upon it again.
Yes, sir. Thank you. You said I wanted to
This is
It's
the
in the
most
end of
fittest
the
one.
I told you it's my first relapse.
And that's why you wanted to pick it up on Monday.
Yes, it's good.
Or the things that I know I need.
I don't have that many left.
I'm on the same side. See you later.
That's $1. That's gonna be too much. Did you finish that one?
I got a pinky.
That's $10. You know that. Yeah. Yeah, that's funny.
I got a tinkle.
I'm gonna do you.
I tried. Feels that underline.
You alright over there, Bethany?
Over there thinking.
Yeah, girl, I'm just like I'm just so sick of my eyebrow doing this weird thing. Gotta fix my eyebrow fit, like my right eyebrow. It goes like, oh.
You be pulling it up.
Yeah, I mean it's like see, can you do it?
It went up.
It's you got
It go up.
Yeah,
Like it's arched.
yeah, mine are arched.
I don't know, it's stressing me out.
Hey,
I'm trying to look in the mirror.
the next
I see it.
Is something bite you? Doesn't still like you?
Right there. Ooh.
Oh.
Didn't you say you think you're allergic to ants, rats?
They have allergic to all kinds of bugs.
No, I got one type of bug.
It's all about.
I think so. And I mean, I need the honey. Okay. It's my own honey bun. And I ain't got no food stamp on, so I can't stop.
You're in.
No boy. Don't bring it back tomorrow. On his birthday. I'm saying it's like everyone somebody she it's like
You want to try to go to she's trying to go to sleep.
exactly. Don't piss me off. I like you, but I don't like you. Do that make sense? I like it. No, what was that? I like it. No. What's this thing?
Man. You hear Mama E?
Do you?
Yeah. They're just talking about this thing.
It's like we like it. I got sleep when my medicine is cold.
It's bird.
Come on, it's right there.
False.
I had to down. You heard it change? You just heard it? We gotta move this thing.
Smell that chair.
This chair actually go over there.
Just move it for now. Chairs ain't here, and I want people to wear it out.
Okay.
That's the only way to get out. My legs get stuck in here.
You fall. I just want you to know that I will laugh. Then I will help you.
I won't be helping up because I'll be stuck on it.
Girl.
I need a napkin.
Yeah. It's freezing, huh, y'all?
She already took a whole room.
No. Huh? I should have already did that. Look.
I need to put it on food.
No, I just want to say that I pee a lot. I'm not doing anything crazy. I just pee like a whole lot.
I'm gonna take this out.
That's why I have to live in group. Whatever.
Don't tell nobody I changed the shoes.
What are you doing? Is you tired?
Yeah, I'm tired. I'm sleepy. That coffee don't be waking me up.
I know.
It's all watery and stuff.
Well, after it sits for a minute, then it gets.
You have some on instant?
No, I used it all. I used all this morning.
Okay.
She gave me a little baggie of it, and I
You still got the bag?
The empty bag?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Can I use it? I'm gonna ask her for some. Cause I need that. I need some.
Thanks. I'm 33. Don't make no sense to me. You can't do all the coats? Huh? You can't do all the coats? Yeah, I love coats. That's all about.
It's cold.
Oh man.
I like that gin.
Oh, thank you.
When it gives no bubble, can I have some instant coffee?
Yeah. I didn't see nobody when I walked this way. Yeah. If you have a zip-up bag, I can get she will go. Oh.
I'm so big.
I need to see. I can't wait till next week. Thank you.
The other bag had makeup all over it. So I put it in my makeup bag.
I'm so tired of Billy. I'm gonna be honest. Making me buy shit. I'm buying your business.
I ain't minding nothing. We go together. Whatever you eat, I eat. You know what I'm saying? I'm just kidding.
She crazy. Oh Lord. She better stop it. Did I say bird? It is not bird.
Well, it's 10 minutes.
I said I need to go on Walmart and see if they got some pasta beans. So I need like 3 boxes.
Oh, it's a double decker?
When I was pregnant, I used to just go buy all my stamps on double decker.
Y'all don't forget, you don't forget.
What it was for?
Hey, probably ain't the first time.
Oh,
I'm kidding.
Oh, I forgot.
What? He had one video for the other facility. Like whenever he's on the TV.
The man's can hear us.
Yeah. The men.
What's up, man? What's up? What's up, Terrence? What's up, Terrence?
What's up, T?
What's up, Terrence? I'm like, who the fuck out of my... What's up, Roger?
I'm gonna go see it. Here, I'm gonna leave that right now. Just look at it. Remember, I did it. Yeah, there's a bacon bread.
What's up, Roger? Roger, funny.
I got 2 of these letters. What's going on?
Boy, give me one shit.
There's nobody in the bubble.
No.
There's nobody in there. Sure. I'll go in the.
I know Shauna's in the kitchen.
I'm gonna see if I can go get her real quick. I need.
Hey, Kristen.
Yes.
Later, when we have time, we can do it when I get my phone later.
Okay.
We'll check and see if the food thing came on back on the floor, and I'm gonna buy some more for you.
You're good. Yeah, go ahead, girl.
But I wasn't gonna make you a water today, but I'm gonna buy some.
Okay. Thank you.
I be buying everybody's stuff. That's crazy. I don't get my stamps until next weekend. I need to stop buying them. I don't get my stamps until the 3rd. I mean, they ain't gonna be buying nobody's stuff. They're gonna be mad at me. They're gonna be buying my stuff. No, I got my own stamps. And I get more than everybody do. Who did stamps? Mm-hmm. You got your own? I'm talking about everybody's stamps.
You got cold?
Well, you gonna quit being mean to me? I'm just playing on them. I know. I don't take me serious.
I don't. Well, sometimes I do. Not all the time.
Douchebag. You drinking it with coffee?
I finished the first. You did? I haven't. 30 pages. I gotta go back and do, not all of it. I think I still have like a couple.
Does he check these?
No, we're doing it for her system.
Well, I didn't know we had to work in here.
You got your treatment plan?
Yeah.
Did she put that on there?
Thank you.
Cause some of it, she put the book.
She put it on mine. Yeah.
1435.
Oh, 41.
Yeah, that's the one I did yesterday.
I still gotta do this part.
The get list. Good morning, Miss Casey. That's the get list. Yeah, that's the one I'm gonna leave us for. Some chips?
I'm not gonna crunch mode.
Huh?
Gotta crunch mode. That was a good breakfast.
Oh yeah. So in a very long time, huh?
On Friday. HEB bad. Somebody from HEB. That's good. Oh, that's his?
Yeah.
I used to work at HEB as well. I got my daughter out there. It's a good job for me. Start out at 16. So. Okay, there it
I think that's what all the young people be working at. When they be in school and stuff.
I told her, you coming back home because she's in debt and going there. You won't see her. I mean, you and Tim.
I think I could never work at Walmart or HEB.
I worked at Walmart. I was
Okay,
class. Class is dismissed. We'll be playing a game.
Hey, does nobody have BC powder in here?
You can ask Brandy. Brandy has it.
You know, you can buy some that you gotta give it to the people in the bubble.
How much is BC powder? I need a lot
cheap.
of it.
Like $8 for a big box.
That's not a lot, isn't it? Ibuprofen don't work for you?
I need the strongest of the strongest shit possible.
Ibuprofen will keep it.
I need the
Take
800.
two. I got 600s.
Is that what got me again?
It's probably not
It
necessary.
hurts so bad every time I sit
If it's
down.
prescribed,
It's prescribed.
I
I
think.
tried to give her my
So
blood
that's why
pressure.
I want.
Oh,
And I
okay.
said no.
Yeah, she tried.
Oh, really? Yeah, I have.
So my blood pressure. So I got my blood pressure.
Because water is good, right? For if you're losing blood. Doesn't it do something with your blood cells or something like that?
Keep dehydrated.
Yeah, it does your blood makes it.
Is your roommate okay? Kids. Leah.
She's not feeling well.
Oh.
I went to
You didn't realize she was here.
Well, I know she was gone, but I thought she was probably with Miss Emily on the
No,
phone.
I didn't
I don't know
go check
exactly
on
what
her and
happened.
asked if she was okay. She said something about her hear what she said.
I don't want to say
And
Yeah, I did know she
then
was gone.
she said, thank you for checking on me.
Miguel, I thought she was with a counselor or something.
She knows she's hurting.
Majority of the
David?
Yeah, she is. Well, I'm in here. I'm gonna go check on somebody real quick. Yeah, she is.
I'll give you this thing.
Did I have different kinds of those? Yeah.
So this is the best time.
These are the best ones.
Yeah, the Parmesan garlic.
Y'all cold? Everybody said it's
Foods
cold.
that spoil.
Earlier they were hot.
Thank you.
I remind you.
Oh yeah. Well, we'll do that when we get started.
Yeah, I just wanted to remind you.
I'm not tired.
Yeah.
Always have some
Oh,
ice.
where she come? I know she's from the shit. But yes, I'm not in here just
Okay.
and then you got to sign it. Because I'm learning where I messed up. I was so close to it, but I've caught on where I messed up.
Well, it's good. It's good for us to know this. We can look at where we are. That helps us know where we have to go. We
some
need,
of it
we
was
need.
like you said with family. They're like, well, where you going? You gone all day, and it was like I'm putting so much into the recovery, then I'm putting so much into work, and then I just got tired.
That's why the book is important.
I just started working.
All right, we just got a second or two here. We're gonna get started. All righty then. Everybody back?
It was
looking better. Yeah, maybe putting something over it is not the best thing. Okay, that's a little better. All right, we were talking about earlier, look, we're going to start doing a little something next week too, where we're going to have some fun questions. And so the question today, we start today. What is the food that will never spoil?
A food that will never spoil. Yeah,
oatmeal.
Any perishables.
Oh yeah.
Non-alcohol.
Non-perishable.
Non-perishable.
That is my
Tune in a can.
Alcohol.
Something in a can.
Yeah, alcohol.
Alcohol.
Twinkies.
Alcohol.
Twinkies. Alcohol.
Pudding? Did you say pudding?
Twinkies.
Food for thought.
What? Twinkie?
That's what I thought.
Let me share this with
Wine and alcohol.
Petroleum.
Food for thought is a good one.
let me share this with you that Twinkies are not a food. Twinkies, look, if you eat Twinkies, you need to stop. Twinkies is not food. Ice cream sandwiches, that's not food. Don't eat that.
Monkey brains.
If you take one out and put it out there in the thing, the ants won't even eat an ice cream sandwich. It'll spread out a little bit, but it won't melt and go away. Why?
Because of the preservatives.
That's a really good question because there's some petroleum something or another off in there. You don't need that, right? So don't eat
cereal?
that. The what?
Cereal?
Cereal.
He just
Cereal.
said that cereal makes you die.
Yeah, cereal makes you die. And cereal is spoiled when you eat it.
Oh, okay.
Nasty. That's some nasty stuff. Y'all know why did they create? That's probably a good question for Monday. But why did they create cereal?
To attract kids.
Now, I'll tell you why they created cereal, but that'll be on Monday. The food that does not spoil.
Yeah, what food?
Will never ever spoil. Last forever and ever and ever.
None.
Is honey.
Honey. Natural.
It's natural. Yes, it's actually bee poop.
Wow, I would not know that.
Yeah, it's made from bee poop, and it will never spoil.
Sorry.
Yeah. So this is the counselor. I don't know. I know it don't happen over at South Point, but over here the counselor come to the door and get the people out.
Get all your stuff.
So
Get all your stuff.
honey.
In your workbook.
Honey will never spoil. And that they found some honey in one of the tombs or something, and it had been in there for like 2,000-3,000 years, and they opened it up and it was still usable.
Wow.
Sometimes honey that you buy in the store today, if you keep it for a long time, it'll form a little bit of sugar on top of it, but the honey is still edible.
Yeah.
So
Honey's healthy for you.
It's supposed to be very healthy for you and all of that. Jesus ate honey.
Yeah.
So honey's good for you. So, and I like honey a little bit, but honey does have sugar in it, and it'll shoot, it's natural, but it'll shoot my sugar up just about anything does. Thinking about a pecan pie shoots my sugar up. Yeah. So we went through pre-contemplation, which means I ain't going to think about it, to contemplation, where I might think about it. Until what? What's the next one?
Preparation.
Preparation. What does the word preparation mean?
Preparing.
Yeah. I'm preparing.
Put in the effort.
Putting in a little bit of effort or something, yeah. Before my wife cooks a meal, she prepares everything. You know, she gets all of the stuff up that she's going to cook and all of that kind of stuff, and you know, she has to prepare it. So before I can do anything with my recovery, I have to what?
Get ready.
I have to, get ready. I have to prepare myself to do what?
To go into recovery.
Yeah, I have to prepare myself to do change. We don't like change, but we need to prepare ourselves to do something.
Yeah.
Something. You know, get to the point where, okay, I was at contemplation. That means that, hey, I don't know if I want to do this or if I don't want to do this, but now I'm in preparation, so I'm going to get myself to the place where I'm prepared to do something. I'm going to do something about it. I'm not really sure what's the best course of action, but I'm going to do something. I have made the point or made the decision that this is not a good place for me to be in my life. And so I'm going to, like you said, it's time for me to make a change. So if I'm going to change, I'm going to have to do something.
Yeah.
You know, because look, if we go out on the front porch over there and sit down, is change going to happen if I just sit there?
No.
Not usually. Not usually. It's going to take us doing something to cause some change. So here's preparation. The individual has decided to change their behavior.
Okay.
Is that a big deal?
Yes.
Yeah. What have I had to overcome at that point?
Yourself.
Yourself.
Control.
Denial.
Self-control. Denial.
I need to be able to overcome denial. If I have made the decision at this point that I'm going to change my behavior, I'm going to change my use of whatever, you know, alcohol, whatever it is, but I'm going to change that, then I have to get past the behavior. Past the denial. I need to be able to look myself in the mirror and say, you have a problem.
Yeah.
You have a problem. But look, if I have a problem, what's the problem? Most of the time, if I'm going to look for the problem, what's the problem?
Discovering the problem.
I'm the problem. And I'm the problem. You know, it's not all of this other stuff that I'm putting in my body. Now, that's the stuff that's problematic, right? But I'm the one who's doing it. So if I'm the problem, who can fix the problem?
You.
Again, yeah. I'm not only the problem, I'm the fixer.
You're the solution.
So that's a more gooder word, right? That's the solution. Y'all do know, look, I did go to school. I do know how to talk, but sometimes I like slipping back into the Mississippiese. Yeah, I like doing that. So the individual has decided to change their behavior, and they've began to think about, how am I going to do that? Now, you know, we all know some really good ways to get them to a place where they can change their behavior, right? But whose business is it how they change their behavior?
Yours.
It's your own. It's your own. Now, there's a lot of people with a lot of good ideas about how to do it, but it's going to come down to what you're willing to do, right? You have to prepare to do what? Something. Now, is this a good idea? Is treatment in a facility is that a good idea?
Yes.
Yes, it is, and it can be very, very helpful for us, and it works for tons and tons of people. Can you get into recovery without this?
Yes.
Yes, you can. There are people who go and spend hundreds of thousands of dollars for a therapist to help them get into recovery, and that does work. You can go to church and God can remove it from that. Does work. I've seen that work. But I will tell you this is as good as it gets. We can come in here and we can, if I'm willing, if I've gotten myself out of the contemplation stage where I'm still in denial, if I've gotten myself to a place where I have confronted my own denial. And what does that mean? confronting myself. When I'm confronting myself because I'm lying. And who am I lying to?
Yourself.
We're lying mostly to ourselves. But we'll also lie to our counselors, right?
Mm-hmm. No.
Yes, we will. It's just like when we go to the doctor. You know, we go to the doctor and, man, we're hurting on a 10. We're hurting bad. We're feeling terrible. We're throwing up and we're pooping on ourselves and we're doing all that kind of crazy stuff. But 90% of the time when we go and sit by the doctor and the doctor comes in and says, well, what's wrong? Well, I kind of feel a little bad. You feel a little bad? Yeah. You know, on a scale of 1 to 10, what is it? You're at an 11 or 12 and you tell them, I get a 4 or 5. Why? We kind of want to keep some of that stuff to ourselves. A little bit embarrassing. I don't want anybody to know I'm that weak. You know, so we're kind of still holding that stuff in. So we lie a lot. You know, people sit down in front of their counselor and they'll say, well, and we'll tell them, well, we used this amount when actually we used this amount. Yeah. Does that make any difference what amount you use, does it? No. So we've decided to change behavior. We're trying to figure out what would be the bestest, goodest way to do that. What would be the best way for me to do that? How many of us know that usually we're gonna try 3 or 4 or 5 different ways before we finally find the one? My first time was just willpower. I said I'm done. I am done. So I threw a bottle of booze out the window. Down she goes. I'm done. I felt so good about myself. 2 hours later, I felt so good when I found that bottle of booze. Yeah, so willpower didn't work a whole lot for me. And so we're gonna try some different things until we come to that one thing that we find that works, right? And so sometimes that one thing that we find that really does work doesn't work. It doesn't necessarily work that first time, right? Doesn't necessarily work that second time. Sometimes it's the third or fourth time when that thing works. But we need to continue to be willing to try again. And again. Until it does. Now, I don't know if it's true or not. The guy told me it was true, and I believe him. He's a preacher. Good fella, but his dad sent him to treatment 24 different times. 24 different times. Well, I told him, I said, look, here's the deal. Something wasn't working right for you. And if I was your dad, I'd have paid for your treatment. Two times, maybe. Three. There's no way on earth I'm paying for your treatment 24 times. But his dad had plenty of money. And so his dad, I think his dad was paying for his treatment just to get him out of his life for a while. Okay, you're going to go to treatment. Can you find a 6-month place? Let's get you somewhere. Right? So, but here's the point. 24 times, that's not normal for everybody. Usually you get it done a whole lot earlier than that or you quit. All right? But it's inspirational if you think, look, he never gave up. He's been sober now for 20 or 30 years, been a long time, but he never gave up. Every time he failed, he started looking for another place to go. Every time. And at some point, he was able. Now he's in LCDC, he's a pastor, and all of those kinds of things. Not me, it's another guy, But, yes, ma'am, you got this quizzical look on your face.
I don't want to ask.
Say it again?
I don't want
to. You don't want to ask?
No.
Okay. All right. Just want to disrupt the group for a few minutes.
How do you spell maintenance?
How do you spell maintenance?
Yes.
I have no idea. Except MAINTENANCE. Maintenance. Okay. And we're not even anywhere near that. So, the individuals decided to change behavior. They began to think about how to do it during this stage. Look, and y'all remember that. During this stage, they will make some minor changes to support their goal. They may make some minor changes. What would be a minor change?
The people you hang around?
figure out where those places are that you might go. You're not really going. You ain't headed that way, but you're looking for them.
Yeah.
Where could I go? What could I do? You know, what is, you know, what about AA? Can I do that before I go into treatment, or could I do that in lieu of treatment? Can I do that instead of treatment? You can't do that. Some people have gone to AA and gotten completely clean without ever going to treatment. You know, I always tell people, you're going home, that's great. We want you to go to AA or NA or whichever A you need for 90 meetings in 90 days. There's a reason for that. How long is 90 days?
3 months.
3 months.
It's 90 days.
How long does it take to break a habit?
A lifetime.
3 months. In 3 months, you should be able to get the habit broken. So you've already been in here a couple of months, maybe, and then you go out there and you're back with a group of people. That's breaking that habit of drinking or using for everything, and it's also building a new habit of going to group. Right? So it's a good thing to do. So look, we're gonna make some minor changes to support the goal. What's the goal? Recovery, getting into some type of recovery, but they might not have completely ended the unwanted behavior. One of the minor things that I see happen, we used to not worry about it at all, but now we make it's a big deal when somebody's using cocaine and they stop instead of snorting cocaine every day of their life, they only snort it on the weekends. Is that improvement?
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's not good enough. But, you know, I need you to be completely off of it. Stop it. Quit it. Don't do it no more. You know, but it is an improvement. And we need to give people positive affirmations for improvement. So in this stage, we're making some small changes, right? And some small changes are going to support my goal, but I still might be drinking on the weekend. I might be doing something that I know I ought not be doing, right? Just making some small changes. But I'm preparing myself to make some other changes. You think that you necessarily have to make some small changes before you can make some large changes?
Yes.
It's very, very, very helpful, isn't it?
Yeah.
What does that do when I make a small change?
It's progress.
Major trying. It is progress. What else?
You really want preparation.
You're out of denial.
For the big change.
Yeah, and it shows me what?
That you really want it.
It shows me that I really want it. It also shows me that I can make a change.
Yeah.
Yes, I can.
Initiative.
Yeah, yes, I can. What did President Obama say? Yes, I can. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. You know, because when he was a almost totally, completely unknown senator. Nobody ever heard of that man. And he shows up on the scene and he says, I'm going to be president of the United States. And we said, ain't nobody ever heard of you, man. You ain't got no money. You're funny looking. You got a weird name. There ain't no way you're ever going to be president. And when they told him that, he said, yes, we can. Yes, we can. And he blew them out. And yes, he did. Twice. He was there, you know. So here's the deal. When we do something, we make a small change. It puts something in our heart, puts something in our mind. Yes, I can. Yes, I can, because look, for way too many longs, we've been telling ourselves, no, I can't. Right?
Yeah.
This is why we want you to be using positive self-talk about yourself. I am a good what? Person. I'm a good dad. I'm a good mom. Right? I'm a good, and here's another, this is a big one. I'm a good client. That means you come to group on time, you know, pay attention, and sleep to a minimum.
Right? It's progression. Yeah, it's progression. 5 more minutes.
Yeah. So look, here's the deal. We are supposed to be using positive self-talk about ourselves, and one of the things we're supposed to be telling ourselves, and we need to be. Yes, I can do this. I can not only get into recovery, I'm going to be able to stay in recovery. This is not a hobby for me. This is a lifestyle change. So when I'm in the preparation stage, I'm looking at things and preparing to do something. Not real sure what I'm fixing to do, but I'm about to do something. Right? And what am I about to do something about?
Change life.
My drug and alcohol use. Down there at some point, I've looked at that and said, all of those people who are telling me that all of this stuff I'm doing is not the right thing for me to be doing, they may be right. Oh, my God.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. They may be correct. They may be right. All those people that I have poo-pooed all of these years and run off and hollered at and yelled, they just might be right. Right? So, if they're right, then maybe I need to do something. So I am talking to myself a little bit, and I'm telling myself some stuff. I'm glad you finally got. She didn't have anybody to talk to at all.
Well, shaky from that. I was just showing her how my hands do it.
Ah, well, good. All right. So during this stage, we're going to make some changes that's going to support their goal, going to lead towards something that's a little more extensive. Even at this stage, even small changes are monumental. Right? We need to understand that. We don't need to poo-poo small changes, because of a little bitty thing. That can lead us to a huge thing. So we need to know that even if I've only made a little bitty change, I've made a change. And if I'm able to make a small change, what does that mean?
You need to take action.
I can take action now. I can move. I can do some more stuff. I am doing something about this mess. Right?
Yep.
And that's a big, 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 big thing. Now, we may not, in this stage, we could have, and hopefully we have, but we may not have stopped the unwanted behavior. Yeah. We might have cut down on it. That might be the change, right? And usually it is the change. I've cut down a little bit. I have also nixed a whole bunch of denial. I have got to the place where I myself am acknowledging that I have an issue. I have a problem. I don't need you to tell me I have a problem. Back in the earlier days, I needed you to do that. But now, look, I've come to the place where I'm accepting that I have an issue, right? I got a problem, right? Yeah. Everybody in here got a problem. Now, if you happen to be in here and you don't have any problem with drugs and alcohol, you have a problem because you come off in this place and didn't have no problem. That's a problem, right? That would, yes, ma'am.
At first, I was like in denial that I had a problem, like it wasn't that bad. But now that I sat back and I've thought about it and I did my processing and my notebook, I know that now I do have one, I'm kind of
yeah.
And it might take time, but eventually you figure it out.
That's a big deal. She said when she first came in here, she was in denial, didn't have a problem. But when she's going through all this stuff, she can see that. She can understand that. She knows she has a problem. And look, it's okay. Look, one of the biggest. Why is it important for us to know that this is a disease?
So you can get help.
So you can get some help. Yeah, there's help for it. If we're doing all of this to ourselves just because we have weak willpower, there ain't a thing in the world you can do about that. If you're doing all of this mess just because you are morally corrupt, ain't much you can do about that. But if it's the disease, you can do something about a disease. Right?
Right.
This is part of the treatment. And that's why we call it treatment. Because we're treating a disease. Right? That's what we're doing in here. So we may not be completely, totally, utterly away from the unwanted behavior, but we're moving in that direction, and that's a big, big step. Now the next step is what?
Action.
Action. So what do they do when you go to when they doing a movie? They got that big old thing that they drop down, and they go what?
Lights, camera, action.
Lights, camera, action. What do they do when they say action?
They
start to work.
They began to what?
Work.
Act. They are acting.
You're actively engaging.
Actively engaging. That's a good way to say it. When so do we need to be actors?
No.
No. You don't want to fake it
No.
until you make it.
No.
Sometimes
Yeah.
you fake it till you make it.
Sometimes we have to fake it till we make it. I'm going to tell you this. When I first got to this action place, I did not feel like I wanted to do that. What did I do?
You made it.
I used the word anyway. A lot. Got up in the morning, didn't feel like going. Went anyway. Right? Got to the group, didn't want to share. Shared anyway. And, you know, I want, instead of staying sober, I wanted to go have a drink. Stayed sober. Anyway, in spite of it, did it anyway. And I still do that today. You know, I am today. You know, we do it one day at a time. I'm still doing it anyway. Right? I'm doing it anyway. Sometimes I don't feel like it. Sometimes I don't want to do it. But I do it anyway. I've been in the group so many long times now that when I go to the meeting, I know exactly what's got to happen at my AA group. We hold our group meets in the room in the Catholic Church, and we'll be down there in the church, and I know exactly how much coffee there is in the coffee pot, because there's a couple of people that make the coffee, and they will not fill it all the way to the top. Why not?
So it don't spill.
Hmm?
I don't know.
You don't know?
Like, they're lacking.
No, you know, it's just because they think you ain't gonna drink. But yeah, they don't want to waste the coffee, because you know we take up offering to pay for all of the stuff. You know, we have a basket, and you pass the basket around, and whatever money you put in that basket, that's what funds the program. You can't fund it any other way. You know, just whatever puts in. Somebody told me one time, well, I'm gonna have a bake sale. You can't do that. Go have a bake sale at your house, and then whatever monies you get from the bake sales, you can put in that pot. If you have $1,000, you put in the pot, you put it in the pot. If you have a nickel, you put the nickel in the pot. You know, the saying is in AA, if you got $1, give $1. That doesn't mean you have to give $1. AA is free, but the coffee's not. So we have to buy the coffee. So there's a lady, and she want to make sure that, you know, so they cut that coffee, the water and everything off right there. And when the coffee pot's empty, guess what? The coffee pot's empty. Yeah, it's empty. You know, you come in a little late, there ain't no coffee. You know, all right. And how many people know you can't have an AA meeting without coffee? It just ain't right. It ain't right. We used to have a big bowl of candy that we put in the middle of the table. That got way too expensive, way too quick. You know, because as addicts, we're going to eat every bit of that candy in about 15 minutes. It's gone. You know, say, it's your turn to share. What she did earlier. So anyway, we're going to move from the preparation stage. At some point, we're going to take action. Oh, yeah. And if we don't feel like we can do it, we need to fake it till we can make it. Look, if I keep doing a thing, what does it become? It becomes a habit. If I go out there and smoke, y'all remember the first time you smoked? It was horrible, terrible. Your body kept saying, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that. But you kept saying, I want to. And so you did. And it looked so cool for me to have this stuff stuck out my mouth like it's on fall. You know, that looks cool. And so you kept doing it, it became a habit, and now you can't not do it. Right? And you know now it don't look all that cool, make you smell bad. Yeah, but other than that, it became a habit. So if I do some good things, does that become a habit as well? Yes, it will. So going to my group became a habit. My wife knows that the nights I go to group, there's no, where are you going? Why are you going there? There's none of that. I go to group. That's where I go. Wednesday night I go to church. Thursday night I go to group. That's the way it is. It's been a habit, done it for years and years. And I'll be doing it probably until the day I suffer from croakification. Right? Yeah. So, now here in action stage, when we get to the action stage, are we done? Are we finished?
No.
We're doing action stuff. We're faking it till we can make it. And then we're actually, factually doing it. So here's the deal. Significant steps are being taken to end the problem behavior. Yeah. We're doing something that if we allow it to take effect and if we allow it to become a habit, and if we continue to do it, it's going to halt the behavior. Now, if I go there and I don't continue it, how many people have ever had to take antibiotics? Everybody. So what does it say on that bottle of antibiotics?
You have to take the whole thing.
Take it until it's all gone. Continue doing it until the medicine is all gone. Because even if you feel good, you're still sick. So when we're going to AA or NA or whatever, 4, 5, 6, 12 years from now, and we feel good, we hadn't used in 12 years, and we feel good, what's still in effect?
The disease.
We still sick.
Yeah.
We still sick. So we have to take it until we're finished. Right. So on my tombstone, I want them to put on that thing, here lies a sober addict. Drop a nickel on the grave. Because when it gets up to 7, 8 nickels, I'm coming up and I'm going to get it. No. So, significant steps are being taken. Before, in preparation, we were taking baby steps. I might not want to go. I might do it. In preparation, I really would. Maybe I know I need to, and we're going. But now we're taking big old steps. We're doing something now. We're in the action stage, and we're going. We're going to do something. We've seen it work for other people. Right, and if a thing works for Sally, James, and John, it might just work for me as well. Right, so I'm going to go do something. I'm going to take action. I'm going to go and see if that's going to happen. You might be at this point one of the biggest things you're doing is not just going to group. What's one of the biggest things you think you might be doing if you're in the action stage?
You're changing your life.
Changing your life, she said, yes. And that's true.
Changing habits.
Changing the habits, that's a good point. What we're doing, we might be avoiding triggers. Right? I might be avoiding triggers. Can I change my triggers into non-triggers?
Yes.
Not usually. No. Not usually. Now, there might be an outlier out there that can, but no, if Charlie Webb is a trigger for me, he's always going to be a trigger for me. Because me and Charlie used to sit down out behind the bleachers and do all sorts of stuff. Drink anything we could drink, smoke a little, goofy weed. Y'all know what rabbit tobacco is?
No.
See, y'all just had them. Y'all living in the city and stuff. If you go out in the woods, there's a thing that'll grow up about that big, and it has gray-looking leaves on it that kind of hang down. We would pick that stuff and roll it and smoke it. Did it make us high? I don't know if it did or not, but we thought it did.
What kind of plant was it?
Well,
What was it called?
I don't know. We call it rabbit tobacco.
Oh, cool.
I don't know. But it's also while we were getting the rabbit tobacco, we were also picking a mess of poke salad. You know what poke salad is?
Mm-hmm.
You never heard the song? Poke salad, Eddie? You never heard that song?
No.
Poke salad is just a green that grows wild in the woods, and it grows on a stalk, and it looks like turnip green or something like that. You can't eat the root, but you can eat the leaves. But it's a little bitter, so Mom would mix it with eggs, and we would eat it. But you had to look at the stalk because the stalk was green, and if it got old, the stalk would turn red, and if the stalk was red, it'd make you sick. So, when you're poor folk, you learn how to, what you having for supper? Grass. Found it in the woods, and afterward, we're going to have some rabbit tobacco to smoke on the front porch. So significant steps are being taken to end the problem behavior. One of the big things is you're going to maybe start avoiding those triggers. Because if you got a trigger, going to be a trigger forever. Well, me and cousin so-and-so, we used to drink all of the time together. And, that cousin, you're going to have to kick that cousin to the curb. You might reach out for some help from someone. Who are you going to reach out to?
Somebody in recovery.
Somebody in recovery. You might talk to somebody who knows where a group is. You might actually wind up in a group. Do you have to be a member of the group, show up in the group?
No.
Not most of the time. Sometimes they have groups that are called closed groups. And that means only people who are seeking recovery. That means if you're not in recovery or you're not seeking recovery, you don't want to get sober, you can't come there. If there are groups, now we have open groups, we have an open thing that means anybody can come and just see what we do. It's not secret. We don't have anything secret. What does the big book say about secrets?
Whatever. Oh, when I was inside.
You're only as sick
As
your secrets. So we don't have secrets. So if you want to come on. We don't care. But when we have a closed group, it's just for people who want to get sober. And there's a reason for that, because we don't want anybody to take away from what that person's trying to achieve, right? We want to be able to talk one-on-one about, us in recovery. So in the action stage, you might do something like that. You might go to a group, see what they're about. You don't have to go in there. When I go to Austin, I go to the 24 group. I'm not a member of that group. I just happen to like that group because after group, and it's the only one I know of, I'm sure there's others that do it, they have a big old place where we meet, and then they got a door that goes up over here, and they've got a barbecue pit outside that door, and they'll barbecue every day, I guess. Every time I've been there, they've been barbecuing because they feed. There's a lot. It's in a pretty bad neighborhood, and they feed all of the homeless people there. And they come every day, and they eat some barbecue or whatever they have out there. I've seen a big old pot of spaghetti out there, but so they do that. I like that, and I like that because I used to have to go there a lot to do schoolwork. I have to go there a lot to do training, and you go there. You can go to a midday group, have a nice group, and get a little free lunch. Because they don't charge anything. Now you can leave a little something, and I always do, so y'all don't feel bad about me. So we might be reaching out for help or taking other steps to avoid temptation. We need to stay away from our triggers. We need to know, look, I have had to in the past. I don't have to do it anymore. But I have had to in the past make sure of where I was driving on the way home from work. Why?
Because certain areas are triggers.
Yeah, I didn't want to pass by the bars I used to hang out in. I also didn't want to pass by the liquor stores. Because those people, you know, I had spent so much money in those liquor stores. I'm sure if they saw me going by out front, they'd have come out and, you know, try to wave me down or something. Yeah, you know, 'cause they needed me.
Come back.
Yeah, we miss you. Come on back. We got some special stuff in here. And, you know.
Buy one, get one free.
Yeah, buy one, get one free, all of that kind of stuff going on. So, okay, we're going to hurry here for a minute, but we're going to take some of those steps. And so in the action stages, we're working. Could this be part of your action stage?
Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You got up, you got out of denial, you decided you've got some issues, and you showed up over here.
Yep.
And I'm going to tell you, now look, I know sometimes things are a little bit, you know, tough here. Sometimes it's not, but this is one of the best facilities I've ever been in. This is one of the best companies I've ever been in at this point. You know, because these people here, starting from Mr. Farmer and Miss Arlene, the ball, the directors, you know, they care. They care about what's going on with us, and that's one of the reasons I'm still here. You know, in September, I will be here for a solid year.
Whoa.
I took a month off, but that's okay. So the last thing that we're going to look at, or maybe we're going to do it real quick, is maintenance stage. What's the maintenance stage?
Working.
Going
Just
to NA.
Keeping up
with your groups.
Keeping up with the groups, doing all those kinds of things, continuing to do what you need to do.
Yeah.
That makes sense?
And connected.
The changes made during the action stage, because remember, we're going to make some changes, some big, huge changes. That in the action stage, that's one of those places where we might have to tell our family, I love you, and I'm going to love you from afar. Now, you know, when you have when it's Thanksgiving, my wife always cooks a turkey, and we have dressing, and we have potatoes, and we have all of that stuff going on, and all the kids come in. We'll have a house full of people. That's wonderful, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, none of those people that come to my house and drink or use drugs.
Yeah.
If they did, they wouldn't talk. That's the way it is. You know, I love my family, but those that still use, I don't associate with them. They don't come to my house, and I don't go to their house. All right. So the changes during that action stage are maintained. That's where maintenance comes in. That whatever we change, we started going to group in the action stage. Guess what we're doing in the maintenance stage?
Maintaining that.
We're still going to group. Yeah, and if I decided I'm going to avoid the trigger of cousin Bubba, guess what I'm doing in the maintenance stage? I'm avoiding Bubba. I don't need to be around that boy. Anybody named Bubba. I have not seen so many people named Bubba till I came to Texas. This is my brother Bubba. This is my other brother Bubba. That's my sister Bubette. I mean, it's crazy. So we're going to maintain that. You may still have to face challenges. And look, I want to tell you, if you're going to stay sober the rest of your life, if you're going to get into recovery, you're going to face challenges.
Yeah.
There's going to be people that make you want to use. There's going to be emotions that make you want to use. I have a friend who just lost 2 of his children. I mean, they're dead. They died, okay? Do you think that made him want to use?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, you know, those challenges are going to come. They're going to be there. So, but if we're in the maintenance stage, we still remember what we did in the action stage. And in the action stage, we went to group.
Yeah.
Or we called our sponsor. Or we called our mama, who is in who is sober or in recovery herself, whatever. We call some of our support system, and we got that taken care of. So we're going to continue to face some of those challenges, but at this point, you have successfully changed your behavior for a significant period of time. And what did we say? If you do something over and over long enough, it becomes a habit. And if it's a habit, that means I'm going to do it over and over and over. I'm going to continue to do it. Now, really quickly, we've got a minute, 2 minutes. Does relapse still happen when we do all of those stages of change? We're going all through all of that. Can relapse? Yes. So if we relapse after making changes, some individuals will return to their previous problem behavior. We can do that. We need to understand that we are always vulnerable. We are always going to be at a place where we can go back to the crazy stuff. So this can happen at any time during the previous stages. Not everyone's going to experience relapse, but we all need to know that it's always going to be a risk. So if it's going to be a risk, we need not to chance that. I have a guy that was in our group, but he's not anymore. Keeps a bottle of whiskey in his refrigerator. I have never put my booze in a refrigerator, but he keeps it in there, and he says every so often I just go and open up the refrigerator to look at that bottle.
No, I wouldn't be able to do that.
No, I wouldn't be able to do that either. And
No,
he's not
drinking.
He's been sober for 3 years. Whether or not he makes it 4 years, I hope so. But that is stupid. That is stupid. He is testing himself. He's testing himself. Yeah. And let me tell you this. If you test yourself, you will eventually fail. Anybody here ever failed a test?
Yeah.
That ain't no fun. I failed a few tests, and no, none of it's fun. So the point is that if you continue to test yourself, you're going to fail. You're going to fail. So if you're keeping a bottle in your icebox, or if you're keeping a little cocaine in your closet, if you're keeping a little marijuana in your car,
you're going to do it.
You're not. Say it again. You're setting yourself up for failure. It's not because you want to prove that you can. It's there so that when you're ready, you got it.
Yeah.
And you're going to use it.
Yeah.
So that's where, look, you need to know where you are. I'm going to leave this here for her because she was out of here. So thank you. We will see you.